I'm Jennifer Chrisman. This is Barrett All Arms Training and Design, and today we're going to go over how to fit yourself to your very first pistol. There's a couple different things that go into choosing your very first pistol. Do you want to conceal carry it? If so, you're going to want something smaller, lighter, easier to hide on your person. If you want something for a nightstand gun or going out to the range and practicing, you're going to want something with a little bit higher round count. I'd say something 8 or above. For that, good carry conceal usually has about 6. We're getting into double stacked now, the micro carry, and you can get some different ones. The SIG P365 is a good one. The Springfield Hellcat, I believe, holds quite a few, and the CZ P10S, but that one's really hard to get, even though it's one of my personal favorites. So going into that, once you decide what you're going to do with it, are you going to carry it? Are you going to use it as a nightstand gun? Are you going to take it to the range for fun? Once you know what you're going to do with it, that will determine the size. Nightstand gun, range, you want something a little bit better. The bigger the gun, usually the more accurate they are. The longer muzzle length or the longer barrel length on those will give you a little bit more accuracy. Revolvers with short stubby barrels are usually the least accurate, especially in .38 Special, which most men want to buy their women as their first gun. It's easy to manipulate, it's easy to load, it's easy to unload, and it's easy to handle. But as far as accuracy, they're pretty terrible at being accurate because they do have such a short barrel, and the .38 Special has quite a bit of a kick to it, so it's going to have a significant muzzle flip. It's going to be a little bit louder, and it's going to be kind of discouraging to a very first gun owner. So I would discourage against that. If you do go with a revolver, I would highly consider a 9mm revolver. So now that we know what we're going to do with it, we're going to go and choose a size and a make and model. We're going to want something that's reliable, something dependable. If you don't know firsthand, or if you haven't done a lot of research, ask somebody who will. Ask somebody knowledgeable who's pretty much into guns, who has a lot of them, and the best thing that you can do is play with them, pick them up, and try them out, but you want to do that safely. So today we're going to go over how to choose one that fits you, how to properly fit it to your hand, and know the technical aspects of what makes a gun fit your hand, and the personal preferences that go into that. So we're going to start out with my CZ P01, and we're going to start by clearing that. Magazine is empty, and if you can see through there, there you go. That's completely empty also. We have it to just rack the slide back a few times and make sure that that's completely safe and empty. Had there been something in the chamber, it would have flown out, or we would have seen it when we opened that up. So this one is completely safe, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows the safety aspects that go into owning a pistol, and never, ever just assume that your pistol is unloaded. Always check. If someone hands you a pistol and they say that it's unloaded, that's nice of them, but check it anyway. So it's a good habit to get into. No accidents happen if you're safe and you take the time to do all that. So we're going to go over how to properly grip your pistol so that you can tell whether or not it actually fits your hand. I'm only going to use this one today, but we might go over some later. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to put those in the comments or message me on Facebook. I'll get to those if I can and when I can. So I'll try and answer everything in a timely manner. First thing you want to do is, this is called your back strap on your pistol. You're going to want your hand to go up as high on that back strap as you can. You're going to wrap those 3 fingers underneath, touching this trigger guard. You're going to have your finger off the trigger. Always a good habit to get into, and you're going to want to practice that. You never want your finger to go directly on that trigger. You always want it to go up on the side of your frame, along the side of the pistol. If you wrap it around, you want your thumb to wrap around, and you want a nice, firm grip. Like I said, again, as high as you can possibly get it on that back strap. So that is your nice, firm grip. Okay, a couple of the technical aspects we're going to go over on your grip. Can you reach that trigger? Do you have to stretch to reach that trigger? Is the trigger too far back and you got way too much trigger finger around that trigger? This one actually fits my trigger finger perfectly. You want it in that first pad of your finger, right in the middle. you want to have a good purchase on that, and you want to be able to press that directly down. If you can do that, then that's a good length for your hand. Another thing, can you reach the magazine release? I can reach the magazine release on this fairly easily and manipulate that. I don't have to put a lot of effort into trying to drop that magazine. That's good in different things such as magazine quick releases, a new set change. If you have a magazine that's completely empty and you want to practice for a competition and you want to slide that next magazine in there, drop one out, slide a new one in, you're going to get good with that. But overall, from a technical aspect, you want to be able to reach you want to be able to reach everything on your gun. You want to reach your trigger, and you want to reach your magazine release. If you look on the other side, you'll see this right here, and that is your slide stop. You're going to want to, I'm going to do it this way. You're going to want to be able to reach with your thumb, if you can see that, your slide stop. I can reach every single thing on this gun. So from a technical aspect, this gun fits my hand. Now, personal ergonomics of this gun. There's a couple different things that make this my very favorite gun. When I pick this gun up, I don't have an effort. I don't make a lot of effort when I pick it up. Everything falls into place, and it is just comfortable. It is a really, really comfortable gun. The grips on it are good. The weight of it's good. It just overall fits my hand really well. Now, if I want to see if this ergonomically fits my hand to a shooter's standpoint, or from a shooter's standpoint, I will choose something on the wall, and I'm going to turn my camera around here a little bit, and I'm going to pick, if you can see it, there is a fish on my wall, right there. So this is what I'm going to choose as my shooting target, but I'm just going to look at that target, and I'm going to point my hand up, nice and easy, okay, and super quick. So as fast as I can. If you notice, your hand goes directly to where your target is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that, I don't know if you can see this well, but I'm going to get that good grip on my pistol. I'm going to set it to my side. I'm going to pick out that target on the wall, and I'm going to raise that pistol up as high as I can and as quick as I can, directly on that target. And my target right on this is that fish. And then I'm going to look down the slide on my sights, and we'll make sure that rear target, or that rear sight and my front sight, sorry I misspoke, are nice and lined up. And if I don't have to manipulate that gun up or down or left or right to make my sights nice and lined up, then that gun fits my hand ergonomically. I'm going to try and do a camera view here where you can look down, possibly look down the sights. There we go. Okay, and it's harder than it looks. Okay, about as good as I can do. Okay, that's what I want my view to look like, right there. That's what I want my view to look like when I look down those sights. I want all three of those dots lined up. I want an even amount of spacing between that front sight and my rear sights. A little hard to do. I want my dots nice and lined up. If I don't have dots, I want the front sight post and my rear sight post to be the same height, and I want that front one evenly spaced apart in the very center of those rear sight posts. So if I can raise that up, look down it, and it's perfectly on sight or on my target, then I know that that ergonomically fits my hand. So personal preferences, that comes a little more after you shoot them. You're going to want to pick them up, know that it fits your hand well. You're going to want something that you're comfortable with in your hand. If it's too heavy, you don't want it. If it's too light, you won't want it. Too small, too large. When you go to pick a pistol out, let's see, if your fingers, I'll have to get better with this camera. If your fingers don't go all the way around, if you can see these three fingers, if they don't go all the way around, even if your thumb will, then that gun's too big for you. Now, on the flip side of that, if your fingers wrap around too much, we'll pretend that they do, that gun is too small for your hand. So you're going to want something that looks something about like this. Somewhere in between this and maybe a little bit more This is on the fatter side, but it really does fit my hand. So I am comfortable with this. You're going to want to take somebody to go pick out a lot of guns, shoot them if you can, and see which guns that you prefer. A lot of people say, well, what should I look at first? So this is my personal choice on a few very first beginner guns. Now, I will say, if you're just coming into the pistols and you've never owned a pistol before, I would look at something closer to a full size. The reason being, it'll give you a little bit more confidence. You'll be a lot more accurate on it or when you're shooting it because your barrel length will be longer. And it's likely going to fit your hand a little bit better. You won't have your pinkies sliding off of the smaller carry concealed guns. So if you do get something smaller, I would look into extended magazines, extended magazine grips. That'll give you a little bit more grip on that, and it'll help build your confidence. So 9mm would be my starting point on that. If you are just not comfortable with a pistol at all, you could always look into rimfire pistols, which would be at like a 22. All the same steps go into shooting it. Same grip, same controls. You can manipulate the gun the exact same way with the slide and everything. But it has hardly any muzzle flip, no recoil, really, and they're not that loud. So always use eye and ear protection and enjoy your very first gun.